What's up guys, Romsicle here, and today we're taking a look at some amazingly aesthetic switches. These are the Everglide Aqua King linear switches, and as you can see, the switch looks real beautiful with a full transparent look, almost as if it were made of glass. A transparent housing isn't rare by any means, but having a transparent stem is, and it just completes the look. Starting off with the switch specs, there are 3 different springs to choose from, and this switch is listed by its bottom out force. You have 55 grams, 62 grams, and 67 grams, and these are their respective actuation forces. So in order, they are comparable to Gateron Clears, Gateron Reds, and Gateron Yellows. And these switches have the typical 2mm actuation distance and 4mm bottom out distance, with a 50 million keystroke rate and cost around 65 cents a switch. In terms of housing quality, this switch is amazing because there are 0 compromises. First off, you have 0 housing wobble, which is amazing. You've got the 5 pins on the bottom for extra stability as well as support for plateless builds. Stem wobble is pretty minimal, and you can also see the gold spring underneath the transparent stem, which is pretty damn cool. Another interesting fact is that the switch is factory lubed, with just the sides of the stem and the rails being affected. And the application is pretty good and not messy, and you can easily add more lube to the legs if you want the switch to be even smoother. I would say that the smoothness of the Aqua Kings, thanks to the factory lube, is in between a freshly lubed Gateron Yellow switch and a freshly lubed Telio switch, which makes it a pretty damn awesome switch considering you didn't have to spend any time at all lubing these switches, and they're still super smooth, so I'm really pleased with that. But if you want to take the switch to Telios or even Tangerine levels of smoothness, you'll definitely need to open up the switch and lube up the legs and break them in. There's also little to no spring ping, so we have that unpleasant variable out of the way, and typing on these is pretty great. As for the typing experience, I'm currently using the 62 gram version, and the actuation force is definitely lighter than a Gateron Red, but slightly heavier than a Gateron Clear. And to me, Gateron Clears are too light of a switch to use, and so are these switches here. Whenever I'm resting my fingers on the WASD keys, I tend to get some accidental presses because the switches are that light even at the 62 gram spring. That's not very ideal for gaming, but when it comes to typing, they are awesome to use because they're smooth and are thocky, and the only thing I would personally recommend for these switches is to get the heaviest spring so that when you do rest your fingers on the keys, you won't get any accidental presses, and that will increase your gaming performance and typing performance as well. Since I can highly vouch for the spring weight of Gateron Yellows, it only makes sense for me to choose the 67 gram version of this switch. Unfortunately, I did choose the 62 gram version only because when I was looking at the specs and the charts, it showed that it was similar to some Gateron Reds, which I have no problems typing on, but when it arrived, it felt like some Gateron Clears. Maybe they sent me the wrong spring weight, or maybe the switches themselves are just lighter than what is shown on the graph and on the chart. Although there was a problem with the switches being too light for me, it was only prevalent when I was gaming and did not affect me when I was typing. So just for the 62 gram version, it is not ideal for me as an all-arounder switch. I would definitely need to go for the heavier switch to make it a perfect fit for me. But typing on it has been pretty fun, so let's listen to the sound test. Alright, so the switches actually sound really awesome and thocky, and of course, the switch sound is going to be dependent on your own keyboard build. If these switches are on another keyboard, it may sound differently, and this is just a reference. But do you know what else sounds pretty damn good? The sponsor of our video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an amazing online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. You can explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity no matter the topic. You might be interested in Marquez's lesson on editing and scripting videos, the fundamentals of DSLR photography by Justin Bridges, or even learning about boosting your productivity from Ali Abdal. I've been listening to Ali's productivity masterclass on principles and tools to boost your productivity because I'm always striving to be as productive as possible without wasting precious hours doing nothing. My favorite takeaway from the class so far is that there is no such thing as having no time to do something. Within all our busy schedules, we have all these pockets of time where we actively choose not to do the things that we want to do. I'm guilty of it, you're probably guilty of it, and I'm trying to change that in my lifestyle to be a little more productive so that I actually do the things I want to do when the time is there, not if the time is there. Skillshare has many lessons like this, and it's curated specifically for learning, so that means no ads and lots of premium classes so that you can focus on learning and continue the creativity train. The first 1,000 people to click the link down below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so that you have tons of time to explore countless topics that can inspire you to do better. And speaking of inspiration, I can't imagine all the cool keyboards that are going to be built using these switches, because another selling point about these switches is that it has great RGB diffusion. Because these switches are transparent, that means LEDs can shine straight to the top without any interferences, making the switch brighter and making letters on backlit keycaps look brighter as well. Especially with this specific PCB with stabilizer LEDs, the transparent Aqua Kings just look amazing when paired with the transparent Zeal stabilizers, and the entire thing looks like mini tesseracts on a grid. It looks gorgeous. And if you want to get real extra, you can get yourself some transparent keycaps or pudding keycaps, and your keyboard would look real extra with the RGB and it'll look really cool. And you can check those products out in the links down below. Overall, this is a really awesome switch you should consider getting for your keyboard build. You can get it right now on drop for around 70 cents a piece and also get $10 credit with the link down below, or you can go on AliExpress and get it for 65 cents a piece without having to pay for shipping or taxes. It's also a good option if you want to make some cool Franken switches. You can salvage either the transparent housing or even the rare transparent stem and stick it on any switch you like and mix and match. But that's been it. Hopefully I introduced you guys to a new switch that you can consider buying when building your next keyboard. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.